Have you ever seen a news video and a product review in one single video? Well, that's what we're doing here on the channel today. We're kicking down doors, we're taking names, we're kicking ass, and we're gonna do a news video and a product review in one video. I mean, I really don't know how else to say it. First off, I want to talk about EA and the Nintendo Switch, because you might remember a week ago, we talked about EA pretty much hating the Nintendo Switch, but now they're changing their tune, and a lot of people are confused. And yes, finally, we are going to talk about my new Pro Controller. I finally have a Pro Controller, and people have been looking forward to my impressions on the Pro Controller, because I've been playing the Nintendo Switch for 2.5 years now with the standard dog face controller. So is the Pro Controller actually the controller of my dreams? Do I love it? What are some things I like about it? And what are some things I don't like about it? That's what we're going to talk about in this video, along with meeting a new cast member on the channel as well. So sit back, relax, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let's talk about what's going on in the world of video games.
Hey, RGT85. Hey, Sean.
Oh my God, it's Stevie Richards! So you might remember a week or so ago on the channel, we talked about how EA pretty much gave the middle finger to the Nintendo Switch, saying that they weren't really interested in supporting the system because people were buying the EA games on other platforms. Now this comes to us from Andrew Morris of EA via a conference call, and it seemed like EA was pretty steadfast in not supporting the Nintendo Switch. And when you look at what they've done with the Nintendo Switch so far, it really hasn't been all that much. You got a couple FIFA games, you have the FIFA Legacy Edition, which is pretty much just a roster update coming out for FIFA this year, and of course you had Unravel 2 come to us from the EA company. But other than that, EA has been very quiet on the Nintendo Switch. Many people are wondering where games like The Sims are, and EA pretty much said we're not interested in putting The Sims on the Nintendo Switch, which, I mean, let's be real, that makes absolutely no sense. So EA was pretty much saying, go to hell, Nintendo Switch owners, we're not going to be supporting you, but now all of a sudden they're changing their tune. In a recent interview with Game Informer, Chief Studios Officer Laura Meal had to say the following about the Nintendo Switch, and whether or not the company was invested in the system. Yes, we invested with FIFA. We had good success there. I love that we have such a great global reach and global presence on the platform with that game. We are absolutely looking at more Switch games in our portfolio, so more to come on that. We're not going to announce anything as of yet, but it is absolutely a platform we are looking at for some of our more successful games. What? Like, what? How do you completely flip-flop from pretty much giving the middle finger to the Nintendo Switch to saying, no, we're looking at putting some more of our successful games on there? Like successful games like The Sims, maybe? Like The Sims would be a perfect fit for the Nintendo Switch. Let's be honest about it. The Sims would do very, very well on the Nintendo Switch, especially with Animal Crossing not out yet. And even alongside Animal Crossing, it offers a similar experience, but it's still unique enough in its own ways. Of course, you have Madden, which is arguably your most successful franchise to date, yet there's no Madden on the Nintendo Switch. I'm a very casual football fan, but I would pick up Madden on the Nintendo Switch because of the portability aspect of it. I used to love playing the Madden games on things like the PSP and the Nintendo DS because of the portability aspect of it. It was fun to play these games on the go. So why the hell is Madden not on the system? Of course, EA has a lot of different franchises, and they have a lot of different games that they have recently developed or at least published. And you have, when you look at EA's library of games, a lot of them use the Frostbite engine, which of course is a proprietary EA engine that has not been really ported over to the Nintendo Switch. Instead of using something like Unreal 4, which is easily scalable, it would be a lot of work to put these specific engines on the Nintendo Switch. So I feel like that's one of the reasons why EA isn't putting their games on the system, but still, you have to respect the fact that the system is selling very well. And whether you like it or not, EA does have some very prominent franchises. Look at Star Wars. Why the hell is there not a Star Wars game on the Nintendo Switch? Another EA franchise that would do really well on the Switch, I think, is Plants vs. Zombies. That was obviously a very big franchise for a while that has kind of sputtered out on other systems, and I think would get new life with the Nintendo Switch. Look, I get it. EA has a lot of games that rely on online stuff, so I think the company is hesitant to put their online games and their online experiences onto the Nintendo Switch. But you're seeing more and more games come to the Nintendo Switch that are heavily based on online stuff. Look at games like Fortnite or the recently released Friday the 13th, and of course upcoming games like Dead by Daylight and Dauntless. These games rely on online services and online features, yet it seems like companies are willing to put these games on the Nintendo Switch due to the success of the system. It is absolutely ridiculous that EA is just flip-flopping back and forth like a fish out of water right now. Like, either you like the system or you don't like the system. You've already said enough stuff to piss off Nintendo Switch owners, but now you're trying to change your tune. Now you're trying to look like, oh, don't worry guys, we got some games coming out, we're just not ready to talk about them yet. It's been 2.5 years since the system has been out on the market. It's time to start talking about about these games. It's definitely going to be very interesting to see what the future of EA and Nintendo holds. I'm not going to hold my breath and think that EA is going to put all of their big games on the Switch, but it's absolutely ridiculous that games like The Sims and games like Madden have not appeared on the Nintendo Switch yet. When the hell are you going to put these games on the system? If you really are invested in the system like you say you are, it's time to put your money where your mouth is. Actions speak louder than words, and it's time to put these actions into motion. So let me know in the comments down below what you think of EA flip-flopping on the Nintendo Switch. Is it just some PR talk? Are they feeling some backlash from it? Or is there maybe some substance to it? And yes, folks, the rumors are true. The rumors are true. I made a tweet about it. Everyone went gaga. There's a new cast member. His name is Mitch the Houseplant. Let's meet Mitch really quick. So this is Mitch the Houseplant. I don't really know what kind of plant it is. I didn't buy it or anything. My grandma bought it for me when I moved into my new place because I guess she thought I needed a plant or something. I don't really know much about him. I give him water, like whenever I think about it. He likes water, so like that's pretty cool. And yeah, so that's Mitch. That's Mitch the Houseplant. That's what you guys wanted to hear about, right? Mitch, not the Pro Controller or anything. I really don't know where that came from. It was sort of just a joke tweet, and then somebody said I should name the plant Mitch, so I named the plant Mitch. But I guess the bigger of the two stories is, yes, I finally have a Pro Controller. Some crazy individuals on the Spawncast donated money to get me a Pro Controller because, I don't know, I've just been on the fence about buying one. And so Spawnwave picked it up and had it sent to me, and I have been playing with this Pro Controller, and there are definitely some things I want to say about it. I know everyone's already talked about the Pro Controller because it's been out forever, but this is my video on the Pro Controller. These are my impressions of the Pro Controller, and this is coming from someone that has been using the dog face controller the entire time on the Nintendo Switch. Now, I will say I do like a lot of things about the Pro Controller. I think it feels great in your hands. I think it's very comfortable, and it's a great looking controller as well. It has the clear finish to it, so you can sort of see the insides of the controller, see how everything works. There's not going to be a tech wave on this controller or anything. I'm not taking this apart because I would break it, but definitely cool to see the insides of it. I absolutely love the triggers on the controller as well. Definitely a big improvement over the dog face controller. I definitely can concede on that notion. These are definitely some very nice triggers. They feel great, they're a good size, and they definitely conform to your hand. I really like the analog sticks on the controller as well. I actually like these analog sticks more so than I like the analog sticks on the Xbox One controller. The Xbox One controller is actually my favorite controller this generation. I like it a bit more than the DualShock 4, and I actually like these analog sticks better than the ones on the Xbox One. They definitely feel very smooth, and they definitely feel very nice and responsive. The face buttons on the controller are great as well. They're nice and big, so you don't have to worry about, accidentally hitting another button, because when you're looking at the dog face controller, the buttons are definitely closer together and they're definitely very small. You of course have the plus and minus on here. You have the home button and the capture button as well. The capture button I think could have been below the left analog stick. I think that would have been a little bit better for me. Maybe you could just hit it with your bottom of your thumb. I think some people may have hit it on accident, so that's why they put it where they put it, but it's not very, intuitive of putting it there if you're actually wanting to capture footage. If you're just doing a picture, that's one thing, but of course you can capture up to 30 seconds of footage on various Nintendo Switch games, so I think that could have been in a different place. And the final thing I really like about the controller has to be the battery life. You simply just plug it in via the USB connection and you charge it up and you get about 40 hours of battery life. If you've ever watched my Nintendo Switch related videos, you would know that constantly my Joy-Cons seem to be dying all the time. There's always the low battery warning in the corner of my footage. So definitely great to have something that's going to last a long time when I'm playing games. Now, as far as complaints go, I do have two complaints. One is more of just a personal complaint, and then one is something that I definitely heard a lot about, but I don't think it's necessarily as bad as people are making it out to be. A lot of people told me that the D-pad on this was absolute crap, and I don't necessarily think it's one of the best D-pads I've ever played, but I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. Is it as good as the Xbox One D-pad? No, I don't think so at all. I think the D-pad is definitely a bit too stiff, especially when you compare it to the Xbox One D-pad, which is definitely much more smooth when you're rolling your thumb around on it, trying to do different things on the D-pad. The Xbox One D-pad is definitely better, but I do think it's better than something like the Xbox 360 D-pad, which was absolutely atrocious. I think it's good for what it is. I think it could have been great if it was a bit softer and a bit just more, easier to the touch. I feel like they made it just a bit too stiff. And the other problem that I have with this controller is it really needs a headphone jack on the bottom of it. When I'm playing games like Friday the 13th Online or any Nintendo Switch game that has native voice chat, which they all should have, I I think it should have a headphone jack on the bottom. When I'm playing in dock mode, it's definitely very annoying to have my USB headset connected to the dock, and then you have to pull the dock out because, of course, the USB cable isn't long enough to go all the way to the couch, and it just looks like a mess, and I end up tripping over it. It could have easily been fixed if there was a headset jack on the bottom of this. You could even do like a headset jack for just a standard 3.5, or maybe even a 3.5 and a USB headset. Like, you're not doing anything here. It's just showing you what controller number you are. You could have done something different with that. So that's kind of an annoying thing. I think they really should look at putting a headphone jack in this controller. It seems like some wired controllers are coming with headphone jacks, but where the hell is the wireless controller with the headphone jack? We need to do this, Nintendo. But honestly, all in all, I do really like this controller. It isn't a controller that I would take to like a 5-star restaurant or anything, but I would definitely take it out to like Outback or something, and they could order whatever they wanted off the menu. They wouldn't have to just pick off the specials menu. Would I have purchased this with my own money? I mean, I would have eventually. Like, it was kind of a joke at this point that I didn't have a Pro controller, and so many people were like, you need to buy a Pro controller, and I got to the point of where I was like, well, now all these people want me to buy a Pro controller, so I kind of want to rebel against it. But I do like the Pro controller. It's definitely something that I'm glad is in my collection now. Since my Joy-Cons always die, it's great to have a backup, and it's a wireless backup as well, so I'm definitely pleased with it. I do wish that the D-pad was just a little bit better, and of course, a headphone jack on the bottom would have been very nice as well. Alright, so you got to meet Mitch the Houseplant, you got my impressions on the Pro Controller, finally after 2.5 years, and of course we had to talk about EA flip-flopping on the Nintendo Switch. So let me know what you think of everything in the comments section down below, and as always guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, check out other videos on the channel, and be on the lookout for another Nintendo Switch product review this upcoming week that's actually going to let you play your Nintendo Switch games better on your television than you have been able to before. Definitely something very interesting that you'll want to keep your eye on, and as always, guys, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.